Hey, Jay here. We are with our 2024 300XC-W little project build. Now, this bike is brand new for 24. The 23 version was just an XC, and they didn't update the XC-Ws yet. So this bike is all new. We don't have a ton of parts for our project bike here. We got as much as we could get on before this trip. We're gonna give you some thoughts on this thing, riding it around the mountain trails with myself, Ricky, and Spencer. We're gonna give you some thoughts on this bike. We couldn't get a big tank on it yet, so we're kind of limited on some of what we could get right now, but we were able to get some cool stuff. So we'll go over some of that with you, and you're gonna be able to check out some really cool trails out here in our mountain stuff. Okay, so Recluse has a torque drive clutch for this already, so we have that, the cover. FMF has a pipe, and P3 has the pipe guard and the skid plate. We weren't able to get an FMF silencer yet, so we still have the stock silencer on here. We were able to get a bulletproof rear rotor guard. We didn't get the master guard yet, and we got the swing arm guard for the tabs on the left side of the swing arm. Bulletproof also has a guard for the throttle body, so you don't stab it if you were to get in some tough situations. Bulletproof also has radiator braces for this thing. We haven't messed with the suspension yet. It's all stock, and we probably will be doing that with Race Tech or Moto Experts. We'll be getting that suspension tweaked. We already know we're off on the spring. For all of us being heavier guys, we kind of made a compromise in the sag, but we're probably gonna need a heavier spring in the rear, and we're guessing the front as well. Moto Minded has a really cool off-on switch. The stock switch is not very firm and exact. This is a lot better setup. We really like it. For 2024, this XC-W doesn't come with a map switch. Apparently the hard enduro version does. If you spend extra money, you get the map switch. So you have to buy the map switch separate. We're gonna test it in both maps today. The white map is supposed to be the mellower map, and which we think we'll probably be using in these really tight trails, so we'll test both of them back to back. In the future, we hope to be testing some ECUs with Jamie at Twisted, but we're guessing that's months out to get it dialed for the XC-W. Okay, up front with our handlebars, we went with a lot taller bar bend that we like, the Champ bend, and from ODI with our Enduro Engineering wraparound handguards. We have our new EMIG 2.0 version grips. These are really nice, really like these, great colorways, and just have a great feel to them. For the gearing on this bike, we haven't been able to mess with it yet because it comes with a 45 rear, very small. But we want to put some time on it before we learn what we want to change, if anything. In the past, some of the gaps on these XC-Ws has been a bit off, so we're looking forward to seeing what it's like. Okay, we're going to be adding a Trail Tech fan in the future, not available yet, and also a Voyager setup for all of our readouts up front here. So we hope to add that stuff in the future very soon. With our tires, the front tire is the stock MX-33. We went ahead and put heavy-duty tubes in it and double tubed it with the stock thin tube. We did the same to the rear, but also at the same time we went ahead and changed it to a gummy Trials tire. This is a brand new Trials TL01 is this brand new Trials tire, and if it's anything as close to as good as the old Dunlop one, we are very optimistic it's going to be great because we really like the old one, and on these mountain trails these things work awesome. DecalWorks made us some great looking graphics to this thing. We kind of went for a unique look. It's really cool working in some red, oranges and stuff, really cool. Moto Seat made a seat cover to go with it, and really looks cool.
300XC-W. Pretty cool. We've already got some parts on here, ready to try it out. It's a 2024 TBI. Oh, nice little river. Lugging. Oh yeah. Thing's good. Feeling it. So there's just smooth power. I'm really surprised about how good this feels. Some of you may remember we did Ricky's build on a TPI and spent a bunch of effort on it. We spent a bunch of effort on it. Takamoto doing stuff and etc. And this, which is basically stock engine, already better.
Okay, we're back here with the 300. A great time riding it the last few days. We're gonna let you know what we think. Okay, so first of all, I'm really impressed. I've been saying it on some of the riding videos we've been showing, and pleasantly surprised. I haven't been a huge fan of the XC-Ws before as a whole because of the transmission, the gaps in the gears. Also the TPI bikes, they've been quirky and weird and have had some reliability issues. So I've been we shied away from them. We never even owned one. We barely rode one, and we were enough. We kept our carbureted ones. And this bike is a big improvement over those. Okay, so with our project build, we added the FMF and a lot of the protection goodies, and I think everything's good. And we did drop her down a few times. Rick dropped it. I dropped it in a creek. We could probably even show that, even though it's vertical. We'll show that. A little bit of me dropping her in a creek. Bike looks great, and stock suspension-wise, really impressed. We added the map switch, going back and forth. And on the tight trails, we kind of liked it both ways. Spencer liked it more in the green map. I liked it more in the white map and the tight stuff. The motor's very easy and smooth to ride. You just can't complain. I'm thinking, and we were talking about, or even Ricky and I talked about, is that this now has done for 2 strokes what when fuel injection went on 4 strokes initially and made them smoother and easier. That's what's happened now with this fuel injection. Smooth, easy to ride. I can't find any faults in the power delivery. I like that I could even be carrying 3rd gear on a ton of the trails and downshift to 2nd. I like being in between those 2 gears a lot more than being at 1st a lot. With previous generation XC-Ws, I found that I was always too big a gap between 1st and 2nd, and 2nd and 3rd. Just way too big a gap. I really didn't like it. I'm not sure what we would change in this gearing. I'm not sure. Maybe go up 1 or 2, but I just don't know. I kind of like it. I don't see any reason to probably change it right away. Suspension. I think for stock suspension, this stuff's pretty dang good. I'm really impressed. Even with the PDS on here, the springs are too soft for all of us, but I'm not sure how much stiffer I'd want this bike to feel. I think when we get to our desert stuff that's more open and faster, it might be too soft for us, but on this trail stuff, it was just incredible. All right, we got Spencer here. What do you think of this thing?
Super awesome. Really loved the suspension, really loved the power delivery. I was really impressed that this is a stock bike and there wasn't much I would even change engine-wise. I think it's spot on. Way better than previous XC-W models that we've ridden in the past. We used to own one back in like 18 and I liked it, but it was, you were going in between, especially maybe some luggy stuff going uphill single track. I was like having to shift in between gears. With this, I could carry a gear.
Okay, so that's exactly what I thought as far as the gearing goes. And then what about suspension?
Suspension was awesome. I think it's obviously we need a little bit stiffer stuff, but for me, I was like, yeah, I'm cool with this. If it was any faster, might want to go stiffer, but right now it's awesome for single track stuff like this.
For tight trail riding, slower riding, I think it's gonna be good for a lot of people.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, so we added on this Dunlop TL01 tire we mentioned, and gummy tire, 130 miles on this tire of trail riding and some fire roads and stuff, a little bit of asphalt. I'd say 100 miles of that's pretty gnarly single track. I'm super impressed with this tire. On this bike, I would have no problem recommending this tire for anybody doing trail stuff. This tire's gonna be great. The only place that these type of tires have a problem is in very, very muddy conditions that are slimy and muddy, or in snow, they'll pack up with snow and ice. Other than that, they're great. I think this is a big improvement over the old D803, especially for trail guys. I'm not speaking for trial usage, but it seems really good, and that stiffer sidewall seems really good for trails. So here's a little bit of negative. Why am I not rushing out to buy one tomorrow? The only couple little things keeping me from getting one of these straight away is I can't put a big tank on it yet. IMS is working on a way to block off this fill here so we can have a different fill. I'd like to get that sorted out so I can have a big tank on here straight away. That's one thing I'm looking for. My last thing is durability. We just don't know how well and how long the new bike's gonna last. While the durability should be good, KTMs usually are, I'd just like to wait 6 months, see what plays out. All right, so that's a wrap. Really fun bike. Hopefully you enjoyed watching some of that cool trail footage. Our thoughts on this bike, if you're looking for one, I think it's gonna be a really good bike for a lot of people. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And we'll see you later on the track or trail. Know where you're going with the #1 GPS app, accessing 500,000 miles of trails and roads, open dates, and public lands. Plan your routes before you head out with the new state-of-the-art Route Builder. The Elite version even shows landowners and property boundaries. Download the onX Off-Road app today for a free 7-day trial. Also, to save 20%, use the discount code DBTV1.